Canon just reported first quarter results of 2024. But not all is good with Canon financials. While sales did increase over Q1 2023, operating profit was down. But we discovered something in the results that could point to a June ship date for the upcoming Canon EOS R5 Mark II. Based on historical data, sorry Mark, you think it's related to Canon's enforcement of their intellectual property that's resulted in reduced sales because of the lack of third-party lenses? All right, well, fair enough. That is a pretty common thought out there, but I think it has more to do with the anticipation that's been building since at least Black Friday. Well, going back even further than that, Black Friday of 2022, the anticipation of the R5 Mark II. And of course, the Canon EOS R1, as well as a bunch of lenses and a supposed announcement of Sigma and Tamron. But let's take a look at that historical data for camera sales. Both the R5 and the EOS R1 have a 4-year refresh cycle, and we're right on schedule for the EOS R5 and the EOS R1. And with the Canon EOS R5 Mark II due to be announced before the end of May, which is just next month, well, I think that would have a much greater impact on sales in the first quarter than the lack of third-party lenses. And yes, I'm aware that Sigma and Tamron have announced between them 7 separate RF mount lenses, all APS-C mounts. Well, yes, that's true, but that wouldn't impact Q1 results because we got that announcement just last week. And of course, that means that we wouldn't see that reflected in Q1 sales. And speaking of sales, despite an abundance since Black Friday of sales on various Canon camera bodies, the R10, the R7, the R5, the R6, the R3, and an abundance of sales on lenses that started on Black Friday as well, people like you, they're waiting to see what Canon's going to announce in the EOS R5 Mark II. Because if I was looking at getting the Canon EOS R5, I can't afford it at $4,000. I can barely afford it at $3,000. But if I know there's going to be a big announcement, and it's going to be a really big announcement, then I know that once we have the announcement of the R5 Mark II, the market's going to be flooded with used models, and I know I'm going to get a much better deal then than I am leading up to the announcement. But I'm going to be watching. And we see this with the Canon EOS R5 Mark I. It's on sale for $31.99, but just a couple of weeks ago, it was on sale for $29.99. And that included a free 128GB CF Express Type B card and card reader, although that deal was limited to Adorama alone. And with that big Sigma and Tamron announcement of RF mount lenses, with most of them due out by Q4, that puts the lack of third-party lenses pretty much to rest, at least for Q2 results. The vast majority of you, 64%, didn't even care about Canon's enforcement of third-party lenses. And of those people that left, 32% are willing to come back. Oh, and that option saying, "'tis a silly company," it's just an option I put in there to try and weed out all those people that want to be funny with the survey and pick something because they think it's going to skew the results. And in this case, it did pull a lot of those votes. So with 600 plus people voting at this point, I think that pretty much tells us that while many of us were disappointed with Canon's enforcement of their intellectual property, it didn't affect a whole lot of sales. But now that we have 7 Sigma and Tamron lenses coming out for the RF mount, and I know they're all APS-C at this point, but one thing I've been saying till I was blind yesterday or blue in the face is that we saw the same thing with Nikon. We saw a whole bunch of APS-C lenses until about a year went by, and then we saw full frame lenses. So we've waited this long, we got a whole bunch at this point, 7 lenses, more will be coming. But let's get back to the financials. While sales of mirrorless cameras remain solid, centered around new products including the entry-level Canon EOS R50, sales of interchangeable lens digital cameras as a whole decreased when compared to the same period over the previous year. This is due to increased sales promotion expenses and a decrease in shipment volume aimed at adjusting inventory that accumulated in the market at the end of the previous year. And as we predicted, those deep discounts were inventory clearing events. Canon's getting ready to announce a new camera, the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. We don't see any discounts on the 1DX Mark III, and we also see a huge change in the pricing structure of the R3. It's got its best price ever. It's been knocked down and it's got a new low price. Well, a far cry from when it was announced at $5,999. The R5 Mark II is getting announced next month. So if Canon wants to boost Q2 sales, well, then they're going to want to start shipping the Canon EOS R5 Mark II before the end of June. An announcement by the end of May? Well, if pre-orders start immediately after the embargo is lifted, which would be somewhere around the 23rd to the 21st, or let's just say the end of May, then it's pretty plausible that we could see Canon start shipping the Canon EOS R5 Mark II within 2 weeks, although sometimes it has taken them 6 weeks before they start shipping product. But why wait 6 weeks when you've got the end of that Q2? I think that's the real big key here. You see, guys, I told you there's a good reason to follow financials because sometimes they bury hints in there. I know what you're thinking. This doesn't prove anything. So, okay, granted, let's say that we get an announcement by the end of May. That doesn't mean they're going to start shipping before the end of June. And you're right. But I've worked for, well, many financial companies. I worked on Bay Street, which is Canada's equivalent of Wall Street. And one thing that companies are very focused on, publicly traded focused companies, is always hitting those Q3 numbers, Q4 numbers, their quarterly numbers. And if you have a major sales event within a couple of weeks of the end of the quarter, I can guarantee you, and if you've ever worked in sales, you know this to be true, what you're going to try to do as much as you can, anything that's in that sales channel, you're going to try and close out. You're going to try and recognize that revenue to get your bonus, to get those results, because they matter. As much as I like to focus on the long term, and as much as Canon has a strategic long-term plan, Canon is still very much a publicly traded company that's beholden to shareholders. So that's why I think if we do follow forward, if Canon does announce the EOS R5 before the end of May, I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts that we will have the Canon EOS R5 Mark II shipping before the end of June, that we won't have to wait until July. Well, okay, some of us might have to wait until July. Canon has said that they should have plenty of cameras available, that they've fixed a lot of their supply chain issues. But don't you count on it. If this is truly a solid update that we're led to believe, then most every owner of the Canon EOS R5 Mark I is going to want to buy it. That's going to mean a lot of pre-orders, and that means you're probably going to have to wait. So one thing I highly recommend doing, I've already got the smart pre-order links in the description down below. However, all they're going to show you right now is just a whole bunch of Canon EOS R5 links. What these are designed to do is once the embargo is lifted, they're going to show you every single SKU for the EOS R5. So taking a look at Adorama, for example, we'll see the Canon EOS R5 Mark II body alone. Then we'll see any kit packages offered by Canon. And then Adorama will likely offer in their own kit packages with memory cards, card readers, camera bags, or give you the option of getting a slightly better discount by pairing it up with a certain lens. While the EOS R5 is currently $31.99, it was $21.99 just a couple of weeks ago, and we think we're going to see that price again. And the EOS R5C, well, it's still on sale at the best price we've ever seen, $35.99. And if you are interested in purchasing the Canon EOS R5 Mark I, not willing to wait until the EOS R5 Mark II, well, you might want to wait a little while longer because we'll probably see that $29.99 price again, or you might want to consider picking up a used one at Adorama or B&H. And if you are interested in purchasing any of these camera bodies, lenses, or accessories, then please consider using my affiliate links in the description down below. These guys right here, I have them for Adorama, B&H, and Amazon.com. And it really does help support this channel. Thanks to everybody that has used my affiliate links in the past. And for those of you planning on getting the EOS R5 Mark II, please consider using my affiliate links. It really gives me a boost to this channel. It's like one event of the year or two events that really set me up for the rest of the year, allowing me to get lenses like the recently announced 200 to 800, the 100 to 500, the 100mm macro, the 50mm f1.2. Thank you so much. This is very much a community. I wouldn't be here without you watching, viewing, commenting, subscribing, and giving me a thumbs up. It's very much appreciated. And, you know, don't feel that you have to give me donations. Don't feel that you have to contribute through, what are these different things? Or PayPal or Fiverr. No, Fiverr's a contracting thing. How do people send people money? Patreon, that's it. I don't even know if I still have those links. Look, if you want to help me out, the best thing you can do is help yourself out. Whenever you buy something, just use my generic affiliate links down below, or any affiliate link to B&H, Adorama, or what was it? Adorama, B&H, or Amazon.com, because when you click on that link, even though it takes you to something you might not buy, if you pick anything else during that session, I do get credit for that. So thank you so much. But that's it for now. We're expecting a whole lot more to come out very shortly on the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. A friend of mine actually told me he had some information, but he's trying to validate it, and I hope to have some more information soon. And as soon as I do, as soon as I feel like I have some valid, trustworthy information, I can guarantee you I'm going to put out a video. So I'm really excited. We had some great announcements already with Sigma and Tamron, approved third-party makers. That means the RF protocol, everything, the camera communicates to the lens and vice versa. Really good news. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have yourself a great day, and we'll see you again soon.